Welcome to another episode of Mickey J. Whitehat, and in our Foundation series today, I'm starting to play with Kali. I'm doing some penetration testing. Now, one of the first things to do with a penetration tester is to find out what's going on with your wireless around you. So today, I'm going to play around with some wireless. I'm going to see what's going on out there, and I'm going to see what I can sniff and get. So if you want to see a newbie, someone who's got not much skills with this product, see what they can achieve, so you know what you can achieve, then stay tuned. Today we have a fresh install of Kali. Now I'm using 2019.1a, and this is the Kali-Linux-full install. So that includes all of the various tools that I'm going to need. The first thing I need to do is to put my card into monitor mode so that my wireless card in my laptop is viewing all of the wireless networks around me, and it's able to transparently or promiscuously, I should say, obtain all the data coming from all those various cards. So let's put it into monitor mode. So I'm just going to run sudo airmon-ng start wlan 0 and put in my root password. Now I'm going to check to see that that has worked. Just using iwconfig, I can see I have a WLAN 0 mon. Now that's not normally there. That's a software network card that's been created just for monitoring. This card in this laptop does actually support monitoring. I'm now going to choose that card and see what's going on with the channels around it. And here we go, we have a list of all the various channels and types of protocols and bits and pieces that this card can actually see. Each one of these looks like either an access point or an ad hoc wireless connection. And I can also see which ones in particular have data going through them. So this one called Unity at the moment looks to be the most active. So channel 5 looks like to be my best suspect. So let's join this particular monitored network card to channel 5 and do some packet grabbing. To do that packet grabbing or packet sniffing, I'm still going to run tools that are built in. I'm going to run airodump-ng. I'm going to choose the channel. In this case, I'm going to choose channel 5. And I'm going to write that to a file called datasniff, and I'm going to tell it which monitor network card to use. And away that goes. So I'm now collecting all that information into a file, and I can use that file later on to work out what was going on over that open connection. So we'll just sit here for a bit and we'll gather some packets. Maybe let it sit there for half an hour maybe. So let's say you're in McDonald's or Hungry Jack's and you're using their free wireless. Or you're doing some penetration at a client site, sitting in reception, just sniffing around, seeing what's going on. So we're going to let this sit there and just gather. So this is the same as using Wireshark on your local Ethernet, except we're actually doing this at the moment through the wireless. I've now finished collecting some sample packets. Let's have a look. So we've got quite a bit of data there in a cap file. Now that is actually in WinCap format. However, there are some other built-in tools I can use. So the first one I'm going to try is URL snarf. I'm telling URL snarf to dump out any HTTP headers out of the datasniff2.cap file. Let's see what it's found. Wow, there we go. So we now have a whole bunch of text flying at us. Let's have a look what these people are interested in, shall we? First of all, we've got astronomy with ice in space. Let's scroll down. We've got some Google Analytics, Google Ads popping up. I think this would be a ad for a Vast, although this is doing a post, this is doing a get. I can see some Java running. I can see this is running on a Windows NT machine. Okay, I can see where it's headed to. In fact, I can see a heck of a lot. I can see a JPEG file here. More I look, more interesting it gets. So someone's obviously got a very deep interest in astronomy. And as we scroll down, we've also got helloasia.com and we've got fanpop.com. So we've got a teenager here in the house. What have they been looking at? We've got BTS, and we've got all the links here they've been to, and URL Snarf even underlines them for us as a hyperlink. We can click on them and go off and have a look. Interesting. So we can see all these unprotected URLs. Obviously they weren't HTTPS, and obviously over this particular wireless link it wasn't encrypted, and I've been able to dump down where this person has been. I wonder if there's any passwords caught up in any of that. So to look for passwords, we've also got another built-in tool here, dsniff. And we're just going to go over this capture. And it's unfortunately come back with nothing. So no clear text passwords were used in that particular session. So we haven't captured anything interesting. Now, a lot of websites have got images on them. I've been to all kinds of different interesting places. So let's see if we can get out of this packet sniff the images that were actually observed. So let's make a directory, captured images, like so. Reason I've created that particular folder is I'm now going to run driftnet and tell it to use my capture file and dump out any captured images. And there it goes, working away, capturing all those images out for me. So let's go across and have a look, shall we? So here we have the packets that we dumped, and here we have the beginnings of the images that that person has been viewing. Now I want a bit more detail than that, so because this is in Wireshark format, how about we fire up Wireshark and have a bit of a look at it that way. And because Wireshark is installed, we can just simply run it at the command line or at the terminal window, and we can open up the packet file. So we've got captured 2, and here we go. So now we have got all of the captures. And if you've seen my Wireshark Foundation video, one of the things we can do is File, Export Objects, HTTP, and we can start dumping down all these images. And we have got lots of images. Okay. As we scroll through this list, we can see the images and where they've come down from and what website. We can see how big they are. So we've got an image here, which we can then save them out. So let's save them out and have a look. So here we have all the captured images, all the BTS images from a particular website. So obviously we got quite a bit out of that Wireshark. Let's see what else is in there. So using the standard tools with Wireshark, we can see some malformed headers. We can see all kinds of things. There's a bit of SSL thrown in there. We can see a pretty good overview of what's in this packet sniff. We can work out that it's using a Ubiquiti wireless. We can look in the header and figure out what hardware was talking to that Ubiquiti. We can get the MAC addresses, IP addresses, and we can probably also trace and look at various TCP websites, things like that. Let's have a look and see if we can follow this TCP/IP stream. And it's building it for us now. Doesn't mean much to me. It's probably an SSL or part of one of the JPEG images maybe. So let's close that, clear that stream, have a bit more of a look. What I might do is just see if we can look at TCP only. TCP. And maybe do port 80 only. Okay, so now we're looking at only port 80 traffic, so nothing's been encrypted. Let's follow this particular stream. What have we got now? Here we go. We've got a Avast is bringing some kind of a file down. We've got the conversation between the two servers. Let's work out what else we've got. Scroll down a little bit. Wow, there's lots in red here. What's going on there? Follow TCP stream. And it looks like we have images coming down. Okay, so obviously I've cut the capture short and there's a few bits missing here and there. But you get the idea that just using some built-in tools in Kali, and you can do this also with the Kali Live CD. So you just boot up with the CD, use the particular commands, and away you go. You can now capture anything going on around you, as long as your card supports monitor mode. So just quickly to recapture this for you. So we did sudo airmon-ng start WLAN 0. That was to start our virtual monitor network card. I typed in iwconfig just to confirm that I did have the monitoring installed. Then another sudo airodump-ng WLAN 0 mon, and that came up with a list of all the channels, and we could see which channels were active and what was going on. Then we did an airodump-ng-c2, so we chose channel 2 and wrote everything out to a data sniff capture folder, or file I should say, with that monitor network card. Then after we'd done the capture, so at that point, the capture's done. No more to do. You've got whatever you need. Then at that point, we did URL snarf to look through that capture file for any HTTP links. We used dsniff to then have a look to see if there's any passwords in there, and unluckily for us, there wasn't. And then we used driftnet to dump out any images into a folder so we could look through and see where they've been. Then we decided to use Wireshark to get a bit more technical with it and have a bit of a dig through. So really, as long as you use these top commands here, and the iwconfig is optional, then you pretty much within a minute are up and running and sniffing the network. So as a penetration tester, you're only going to use this for good things and not for evil. So I must just say here that if you are going to partake of this and do this, you need to be very careful that, number one, the people who have asked you to do penetration testing, and you must be asked, you can't just walk up and start doing this kind of thing, but you must make sure you've got in writing what exactly it is that you're allowed to do and what it is they don't want you to do. So you need to know your boundaries and what's a step too far, because anything you're doing here, yes, okay, you are analyzing the free airwaves around you, but anything you do with that data could be illegal and you could end up on the wrong side of the law. So with penetration testing, it's got to be very careful that you know the laws of the state you're in. Be very careful that you only do what you're asked to do, and make sure you're not stepping over the line. So in this case, I've just confirmed that there is a leak at this site. I have confirmed that, number one, there is a lot of HTTP requests going on, not HTTPS. I didn't see any passwords going through the system, but I could say that there probably would be passwords. I just didn't hang around long enough to find any. And there's obviously someone surfing a lot of images. I can also say that they were using an open connection. There was no WEP WPA on that particular connection. So now I'm going to go to that client and I'm going to tighten them up a little bit. I'm going to tell them not to use the open, but they need to put some sort of encryption in place. And I'm going to make sure that people are doing things for work use and not for personal use. So that is the reason why I would use this particular skill. I wouldn't go around trying to sit down and war chalk or sit at a McDonald's or anything like that and try and pretend to be a man in the middle and take over routers and redirect traffic through myself. But that is something else you can do with Kali if you are doing that as part of your penetration testing. So whilst I'm showing you this, I am showing this as a white hat, not as a black hat. So do not use this for bad. Right, well, thank you for joining me. I hope this is a valuable contribution to my foundation series, which of course I refer to from my major videos. So this is backup education for those videos. Thanks for joining me. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. And feel free to leave a comment. Love to answer your comments. And ring the bell if you want to be notified whenever something new pops up. Thank you for your time.